Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to our stream. Jazzcat, how should I address you during stream? Christopher or Jazzcat
Yeah.
or
Either's fine.
okay.
Um, Jazzcat's what most people call me, but
Okay.
doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, Jazzcat and I are here to have a little chat. It's kind of like he came over to my place for coffee, and it's just kind of amazing thinking there you are all the way in Australia, and here we are just like, hey, we're hanging out, having a cup of coffee.
Yeah, I've got my coffee here.
Yeah. My main reason for
Thanks for having
starting,
me.
what's that?
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. My main reason for starting this is because, as you know, we have a song that we did together, you and I,
Uh,
and a bunch of other people. I just put the information about that into chat, and we had some discussions about it, and I thought a lot, and you really helped me during that time. Just realizing, why are we doing this? You know, Are we doing this because we want to be famous? And the answer to that, for me at least, is no.
mm, yeah.
The answer for that for me is I wanted to have more connections with people here on Twitch. And because this is where I have most of my friends, and I wanted to build those friendships and make them stronger. And a lot of the ways that we do that, I feel like, at least sometimes, is through doing collabs. Because
Hmm.
there's something about doing something together.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, and like, I've met a whole bunch of wonderful people here on Twitch. Yourself, of course, included.
Thank you.
Um, and it's amazing the inspiration we can find with other people and people's willingness to step in and be a part of things. There's a real sense of community over here, and that's one of the things I really love about the platform.
Yeah. And so I thought, um, after putting out this song, instead of like spending a lot of money to promote it on YouTube, which I could have done, and some people have done that kind of thing, or spend money trying to get myself onto playlists on Spotify and things like that. What I would do is use this as a springboard to get started in helping each other's communities to know people like you, and your community to know people like me, and just continue what we've started here on Twitch, as with our communities. So
Yeah, and I think there's definitely a sort of potential for crossover there. With both of us have a sort of outwardly very kind of trying to create a calming space,
yeah,
and I feel that I do that as much for myself as I do for others, in that that's the kind of space that I like to spend time in. And this is one of the reasons I like hanging out on your channel as well.
yeah, that's one of the reasons why I like to hang out with you, because yeah, I don't I like metal music, but I can't listen to it very long, because
Yeah.
there's something about those harsh frequencies. It causes me to get a headache. Nothing against people who play metal, but I can't. I just physically can't do it. I usually have to lean towards someone like you with a sort of a chill type thing going on.
It's funny that you say that. I used to play a little bit of that when I was younger. I think a lot of guitar players did. It was
Hmm.
I sort of came up listening to Nirvana, and then like into the 2000s started playing in some metal bands just because it was something that I wanted to try. So did that for a few years.
Right? Yeah, metal. The metal definitely. I found from my son showing me some different metal tunes and things. Some of their music can be quite intricate, and it's not
Mm,
just headbanging.
absolutely.
It's some of it is really quite
Mm.
musically interesting. I sort of wish that I could listen to it more, but Yeah. So let's let people find out something about you generally. So
Yep.
let's just introduce you. Maybe you can introduce yourself and tell people
Yep.
something, things generally about you.
Okay, sure. Well, my name is Christopher. I typically go by Christopher or Jazzcat or Jay, and I play instrumental guitar here on Twitch. I've been doing so for it's got to be getting close to 5 years now. Um, and yeah, I came over here initially um, when the um, when the global panda bear happened, as they
The
say.
pandemic.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, you know, before that, I've had a bunch of regular gigs that I was doing, playing, just background music on a Sunday afternoon in pubs and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And I started really missing it when I realized I hadn't touched my guitar in a month. And for someone who used to practice every day, that's a really, really scary thought.
Mm-hmm.
So I started streaming first on Facebook for a while, and then I moved over to Twitch. And as I've spent some time over here, I've gotten to know a bunch of people and also gotten exposed to a bunch of different music. I started off just purely playing jazz standards, and then I've since branched out into playing some video game music and some anime music, and as well as a bit more pop and rock songs. But still in this sort of fairly ethereal, relaxed jazz style that I like to play in.
Yeah.
Um, So I'll typically stream about 3 times a week, and I'll be on for a few hours each time. I try and sort of have a minimum of 2 hours that I'll stream for. I usually go a little bit over that, sometimes a lot over that.
Yeah.
Um, how about yourself? When did you start streaming on here?
I think I would say that I had not known much about Twitch at all, except I knew my sons both had an interest in it. And then it was the pandemic that got me to try to find places where I could interact with people.
Mm,
And I had certain streamers that I watched every day, and like certain people who are not on Twitch anymore, but they would be on when I got up in the morning, and I uh, would be doing some sort of craft, sometimes sewing those face masks and things that I would be watching these people. And after a while, I started really feeling like I was part of this community.
mm,
And I talk about my disability. I have been diagnosed with autism, high functioning, and it's hard for me to connect with people in person. I think I really do lean toward these kind of one-on-one interactions. I can really do well one-on-one, but
mm.
most of the time in the world, that's not how things are. It's
I d-
a group of three, four, or five, um, and with those groups, I usually tended to disappear. And the person who was the more aggressive or the more talkative person would be the one who would always kind of be the star of the show. And I just hated that feeling of, and I still hate that feeling of kind of disappearing. But here I felt like I mattered and it made a difference to me. So over time,
that's wonderful.
I had a mod live on a mountain who is not usually here now, but he said I didn't really think I was good enough a musician. Really, I'm nothing compared to someone like you. But
Oh, that's not true.
thanks. I mean, but then living on a mountain said heard a few of my old originals that I had up on YouTube from a long time ago, and he said, "Well, but what if someone would like to hear your voice?" He said he personally would like to hear my me sing, and I said, "Well,
Mm,
okay, I don't think anybody will show up at you, but okay." But then it turned out that there were actually people that knew me as a viewer that wanted to come in and say hi, and it just started to develop like that
mm.
as a community.
Oh, that's lovely.
Mhm.
I I definitely feel you when you're talking about sort of group situations there. I'm also much more comfortable one on one. I've been diagnosed with ADHD,
Uh,
which has got a lot of comorbidities with autism, and I don't have enough markers for an autism diagnosis, but there's some there.
yeah,
And so I definitely understand that feeling of being in like a group situation and sort of feeling like you're fading into the background. It's a very familiar. And yeah, like Twitch has been really nice like that, and that I can be the be doing my thing, and people seem to appreciate it.
yeah. And I feel like I don't know if you can relate to this, but I feel like I have played, even at my church, I've had this problem, which I think is really ridiculous, but I have played in public settings where I felt like everybody was more interested in talking amongst themselves, and they didn't really seem like they were listening to me at all. Even at church, even one Sunday I said to the congregation, this is a quiet meditative time that I would like to offer to you, and I'd like to see if you can all please refrain from talking. And they still talked.
Goodness.
So, hello, A-word. And so, here, if people are talking right, we don't hear it on our end, right?
Mm.
So do you feel that makes a difference to you? I don't know. You probably had a lot of situations where people were talking a lot.
Yeah, definitely. So a lot of what I do, gigging wise, is out, you know, playing in cafes and things like that, where I will literally just be the background music,
Yeah.
and people aren't really sort of people are eating their food and sort of chatting amongst themselves, and I'm just kind of there for ambience rather than being a focus.
Right.
And like, I'm more okay with that than I am if I'm performing on a stage and people are not as sort of interested in what I'm doing.
Yeah. They're supposed to be paying attention if you're like the one who's on the stage, right?
Yeah, yeah. But it's like sometimes I'll be in a cafe or a restaurant or something and I'll finish a song that I'm playing and everyone will clap, and sometimes it'll just be silence. And
Yeah.
that's a bit of a weird feeling, but
Yeah.
it's something I've gotten used to over the years.
It can be, for me, it feels very dehumanizing, especially if I really feel like this is a song that's emotionally important to me, and then everybody's just talking. So,
So
yeah.
sometimes when I'm streaming, I will not look at chat while I'm performing. If I've got a mod or two in chat and I feel sort of that any issues will be dealt with promptly, then I'll typically just focus on what I'm doing at the time and try not to look at the screen.
Mhm.
And I think it's definitely possible for me to distract myself. I guess again the ADHD thing,
Uh,
and it's very difficult to filter stimuli. So
mm.
I can see like a few words in chat, and that will kind of set my mind off on a tangent, and then all of a sudden I've
Oh,
lost my place in the song.
oh, no. So that happens to me, but for you, it must be so much more difficult. So many
Well,
people that I know in music have ADHD. I'm very surprised to see how many there actually are, and some
yeah,
I
there's
think that mm, some I think don't
a lot
even
of
know it.
neurodivergence.
Yeah, yeah, neurodivergence. Yeah. So I find that I do like the way I work it is I have two monitors. I have this one in the front, which is where I'm looking at my lyrics and my Ableton and everything, and then I have one actually another one to the side where I keep my chat. But what I have tried to learn with people like you who have ADHD and some who don't know they have ADHD, but actually definitely show the symptoms of someone who
Mm.
does that. if you message them, right, or email them, they might think they answered you, but they didn't. And
That's me, 100%.
so, it's something that I've had to learn to not take it personally and think the person doesn't like me, doesn't care about me. It's nothing like that. It's just that they're ADHD, right? See if you can you chime on this. This is actually the truth that your ADHD actually makes you think, either forget about it completely, doesn't mean that you don't care about the person, but you just forget about it, or you think you actually did answer it.
Yeah, definitely the latter more so for me is that I'll think about what I want to say in response, um, and think that I've said that when I haven't,
Oh, interesting.
um, because, somebody knocked on the door or I got a phone call or some other stimuli took my attention before I'd actually typed it.
Oh, but you thought you typed it.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
And it's, I have like a lot of reminders and things on my phone, because to check that I've done things, because otherwise I just won't
Yeah.
like I won't be sure that I've actually done the things I need to do, like send out invoices or book rehearsal rooms, things like that.
Uh-huh. So yeah, I guess the second piece of that would be to be asking you, question about things like that, like how you navigate that part of your life. Since you know that
Mm,
you do that, then you do. That's really great that you have those coping mechanisms that you say, okay, I know that I do this, so how am I going to handle it? And so
mm.
yeah,
Yeah, and that's something that's developed over my. I've been on this planet for 42 years.
uh-huh.
It's not something that's sort of happened immediately. It's been a slow process of working out, like, how much can I put in there where it doesn't become overwhelming with constantly being bombarded with reminders, but enough that I can get the things I need to do done.
Yeah, I think I found that a difficult thing for me navigating working with people who I have collabed with that have ADHD. Uh, what is the borderline between being annoying, right, and reminding a person and being annoying, and
Mm,
reminding a person because they need it, and that's been hard for me to. So I
mm.
wonder if you can address that for me because I don't really know.
Oh, um, uh, I, that's a difficult question to answer. Trying to be transparent as I can too. Um, I would say that um, I've seen it said that ADHD people have two modes of time, two understandings of time, now and not now. And so if there's an actionable task, um, then that's a good thing to just sort of put forward, like, oh, can you put this in your diary for tomorrow? That that kind of thing. Um, whereas the other side of that being, don't forget this is a thing that's happening without any actionable component to it,
Oh, I see.
is like probably on the other side of things where that's not as helpful.
So, in other words, working with a person, say, you're gonna contact me when you're ready. That day when they're ready may never happen, right?
Yeah,
Because I didn't
exactly.
ask them to put it in their diary that they're gonna call me on s- August 1st, or they're going to message me on August 1st, right?
Yeah,
But because I didn't say that, that they're just gonna call me, they're just going to message me when they're ready that day, that's going to cause it to not happen.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a
So,
good
for
tip.
example, like we had this meeting today, and so when we worked out the date and time, then I immediately put that in my phone, and I knew that that was coming up, and that I had to keep this space free, and all of that, and that I needed to make sure that I was well rested and do all the things that I needed to do to prepare for being on the call with you today. So,
Uh-huh. Well, that's really a good tip. I'll try to remember that. So let's see. I wrote down some questions.
yeah.
Actually, let's get to the one of the things that we were talking about in terms of the communities. Like one of the things that
Mhm.
I mentioned before we started were when we're streamers like this, right? Um, Sometimes we know uh, that there's people out there that appreciate us. They might put emojis in the chat. They may say things in chat, but we also have quite a lot of lurkers, right? I usually
Yeah,
on my
yeah.
stream, I often have quite a lot. Like I might have 2 or 3 people active in my chat, and then I look at my viewers, and I've got 10 viewers, and I'm like, who are these 10 viewers, right? So, but some of these people could be people that really appreciate what you're doing, and you won't
Mm.
know it. So, but have you actually had some moments that were special to you that the person said, "Wow, you did something that made a difference to me."
Absolutely. So, um, when I first started streaming over on Facebook, I did so to raise money for a mental health support service
Uh huh.
here in Australia called Lifeline.
Mm.
Because with everything that was going on in the world, they were really under the pump, and I felt it was something that benefited absolutely everyone because it's a phone number that people can call 24/7 and talk to a counsellor, and
Mm-hmm.
any Australian can use it. And I thought that was a really important thing to put some time and energy into trying to support. So I started doing fundraising over on Facebook, just playing guitar, and had the donation link in chat. And I would occasionally get messages from people regarding that, going, "I know I didn't say anything in chat, but thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for talking openly about your struggles, and thank you for the soothing music. It really helped me get through a difficult time."
Mm-hmm.
And that's that's been a bit of an ongoing thing since I've moved over to Twitch as well. Is that I've had occasionally people who've maybe never said anything in chat, or maybe only ever said hello one time, have come back over and over for years at this point, and will pop in and listen for a while. And I'll occasionally get a message from somebody on one of my socials just saying, "Hey, thank you for helping me get through my days."
Mm-hmm.
Because I know a lot of people, much like yourself, I assume, people have us on in the background while they're working, or while they're making dinner, or going about their day, whatever they're doing. And it's really nice to know that what I'm doing isn't just sort of strumming my guitar into the void, but it's actually like making a little bit of a difference in people's lives, however small.
Uh huh. I've had found it kind of strange for me that like I just had a special moment with someone over the weekend where I was playing. I chose a certain song to play at my church. My husband and I were asked to play at church, and I spent a lot of time learning this song in Spanish because my friend said it was her mother's favorite song, and her mother had passed away, and it was
Oh,
something
wow.
important to her. That song, she had actually played that song for her mother's birthday, the year that right before her mother passed. So
Oh, my
some of
goodness.
these songs are really special to people, and one day I had somebody come out of chat a verse time chatter thanking me for playing a certain song and saying that song meant a lot to them. I, I had no idea, right? Have you ever had those kind of
Mm.
situations where somebody said, "Wow, that song was really important to me"?
Yeah, yeah, I have. Um, and like people will share their memories of, much like with what you've said. You know, my father used to play this song, or I used to listen to this growing up. Uh, Sharing different like special moments from their life, that something that I hadn't really like grasped, you know, or hadn't had that. I guess hadn't had that personal connection to, but I thought, oh, this is a nice, pretty song that I can learn. And
Hmm.
then you find out that it means so much to someone out there.
Yeah, it's amazing, and yet on the other side of the coin, and I'm just going to take a quick drink here. Get this huge drink thing I
Oh
gave.
my goodness, that's a good idea. I should drink some water too, actually.
Hmm.
And everyone out there, charge your glasses, and we'll do a cheers. So,
Very good. Yeah, we have to make sure we remember. It's a little warm here. I know in Australia, right? It's in the cooler season, right?
oh, absolutely. And it's just gone midnight here in South Australia, so we're getting into the coldest part of the evening. Um, it's not too bad today. Oh, I'm going to have to try and convert this, aren't I? So it's currently 10 degrees Celsius. What is that in freedom units?
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm thinking something like 50 or 60 degrees
You
for
are
me.
bang on. It is 50 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, there we go.
Thank you.
Here I am in the middle of summer, and out here in the Philadelphia area, it gets very muggy, very thick, and it's like you could go outside and feel like you could actually move the air with your hand, right?
Oh,
It's
wow.
just tropical. And
My
that's the
goodness.
hardest part of it for me is just the humidity that it gets to be around here. It's really hard.
Yeah.
So in this
I should,
in Australia, where you're living, does it get like that, or is it more dry heat, or in the summer?
so it gets like that in the northern parts of Australia, but I live in South Australia.
Hmm.
So it actually, we are the driest state in the driest continent. So we're very, very dry heat. So it doesn't really ever get muggy around here, which is uh, which is quite nice. And
Yeah.
I remember going up to visit some friends up in Sydney, which is probably about a 25 to 30-hour drive, and just heading sort of north east from where I am. And I was shocked at the difference in the like the feel of the muggy heat up there, as if I just hadn't really experienced anything like that before.
It can be very uncomfortable. And fortunately,
Yeah, like
we do have air conditioning. What were you going to say?
yeah, one of the reasons I live where I do is because it's yeah, I really don't like the muggy heat, and specifically I live up in the Adelaide Hills, near one of the Rhine regions up here,
Uh,
and so where I live is actually typically about 5 to 10 degrees cooler than it is sort of down the hill, as they say.
uh-huh.
So it's another reason I live up here is because it's not quite as harsh in the hot summers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think that, well, where we live, I like where we live, especially particularly where we live specifically, though I'm not like we're not talking specifically where we
Mm.
live, but
Yeah, yeah.
we like our neighborhood because it's walkable.
Oh,
And
nice.
we can walk to church. We can walk to the convenience store. I used to have a gym I belonged to that I could walk to. All those things, and and I don't actually use my car that much.
Mm.
Yeah. So I'm just going to stop for a moment to greet a few people in chat who are here.
Sure.
Ayward is here, um, and Hayes Anderson, a music producer here. Ayward is a pianist and a gamer. And
Oh, nice.
Naysay is
Hello.
also a wonderful gaming streamer. She is my online niece, pretty much. She said you first post your first YouTube video, and I'm so proud of yourself. I'm proud of you too. And
Oh,
I'm
that's
really
awesome. Congrats.
silly music video, but it's for my birthday. Yes, Nay's birthday is July 30th. We're excited to celebrate that with her soon. So welcome in, friends. I've got a cat here, so it's hard for me to get there to actually shout you out. So Ayward and Nasa, you guys can shout each other out if you want. And welcome in, Michael. Michael is also here. PUCZK0. That person's name is Michael. So welcome, everyone.
Hello.
So
Thanks for joining us.
one of the things I just want to backtrack a little bit with talking about our communities and how
Yep.
great it is when we do have these special moments that we have. But um, sometimes I do find it hard. I don't know whether you do. Like if I have a day where hardly anybody is active in my chat, and there may be people here lurking, but hardly anybody is actually saying anything. And I start to get a little bored. Um, I start thinking, why am I doing this? Kind of those kind of days. And I wonder if you ever have
Yeah.
those kind of days. And if you do, how do you handle it?
Um, yeah, I definitely can feel that from time to time for sure. Um, and it can be very easy to get stuck in your own head in those kinds of moments and start to ruminate about things. Um, um, I guess I try and focus in as much as I can on what I'm doing, and I'll probably talk a lot less and play a lot more
I see.
at those times. Um, so I'll I'll try and come up with things that I want to be focused on, um, and think about like certain guitar techniques that I've been working on, and try and play a piece that challenges me
Mm,
um, with those kinds of techniques, to give myself things other than that to worry about, I guess.
yeah. I guess that's a good point. That's some days I come to stream with a plan of songs I really want to play. But other days I come and I really have no idea what I want to play. And then if I don't have anyone in my chat requesting songs, then it's a tough bind to be in when you really don't
Mm.
know what you want to play. And then you go, all right, what do I want to do now? So then I just have to say, okay, this is Stevie Wonder Day, or this is Ray Charles Day, or this is Oldies Day, or something.
This is where the streamer song list website comes in really handy, I find, because I can order my songs from the most recently played to the least recently played, or how many times I've played something to fewest to most, and that gives me a little bit of a nudge as to the things that I maybe want to make sure that I practice.
Mm. Like if you know that there's a song you haven't done in a long time, that's the time to say, okay, I haven't done this song in ages. It's time to do
Yeah,
it. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I might want to remember that too. So,
there's also
go ahead.
there's also sometimes songs that I'll be like maybe a little bit nervous about playing, or something that I don't quite feel like I like I'm super comfortable with, or something that maybe the last time I played it, there was something that I didn't quite get right, and I
Yeah.
know that I need to practice it.
Mhm.
And so in those times, I'll sort of head in that direction a little bit as well and go, okay, now's the time to play this thing that I need to work on.
Uh-huh. That's a good idea. So sometimes what I do is I have certain people that are my regulars and I know they're there. I know they're lurking. Like a lot of times my friend Naysay will be here and I know she'll be lurking and getting ready for her own stream. And but I know what her favorite songs are. Some of the songs are here because Naysay suggested them and they're on the list because I live learned them for her. So I know that when she's here, there's certain like 5 or 6 or whatever songs that I know that she likes, and even if she doesn't ask for them, I might just go ahead and play them if nobody requested anything.
Yeah, I do a similar thing as well. If I suspect that someone might have popped in, then I'll maybe play a song or two that I know they like.
Mhm. Yeah. That's my girl out there. Yeah. Yeah. Um, let's see what so I had written down some questions. So how old were you when you first started playing guitar?
I was 13. I much prefer this question to how long have you been playing guitar because it doesn't require me to do any maths.
Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. For 13.
Yeah,
And
so
yeah.
I was I was starting high school, and in the music class, they had the option to take piano lessons or guitar lessons, and I'd always wanted to play guitar. I had like some friends who dabbled in it, and so I told my parents, and they were kind enough to go and buy me a little classical guitar like that week. So
Oh,
I
nice.
thought, well, they've spent money on me now. I have to make sure that I get good.
Do you actually remember your first guitar and what it was?
um, it was I will, I can't remember the exact brand. It was a Valencia or Valentia or something like that. It started with a V,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, it was a cheap nylon string thing.
Uh-huh.
But it was a really good thing to learn on because I don't know, you may have had experience with this as well. When you first start playing on steel strings, they can be quite harsh on your fingers.
Oh, yeah. You have to
And
get those calluses.
um,
There's no question. It takes time.
yeah, and so starting on a nylon string is a little bit easier on the hands.
Mhm.
And it comes with its own challenges, but it's definitely not quite as callus inducing as the steel strings. Even now, when I change, a little while ago, I went from using sort of medium strings to using fairly thick strings. And even that change was noticeable with my hands, and I had to sort of recallus a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. I think me, like, I had gotten into the habit of mostly playing my nylon string, and I think I did notice it when I switched back to the steel string that then, it was some soreness in my hands. I definitely would say that. Um,
Yeah.
well, when you started playing guitar, so you started out taking lessons. Was there a point
Yeah.
where you, at some point, decide, okay, this is really what I want to do? And when you think that was? And can you talk about that?
Um, yeah, absolutely. So growing up, I was never particularly great at my schoolwork or any sports or anything. And quite early on into my guitar playing, sorry, I'm a little bit sick at the
Oh, go
moment.
ahead, take a drink if
Um,
you need to. Here, I'll take a drink too.
yeah, that's a good idea.
We have another cheers, everyone.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Here
Let's do it.
we go.
Yeah.
And this is just water, I promise. Family friendly show, everyone.
Yep. I've got my water here and my coffee there.
Uh, oh, the cat purr didn't work for some reason. Sorry, Nay. I might have that sounds off for the interview. Just so, yeah. Thank you, though. We'll play that for you another time. So go ahead.
Um, so, when did it become the sort of something I wanted to put a lot of focus on? I guess like fairly quickly it became a big part of my life because unlike schoolwork or sports, it was something that I felt that when I put effort into it, I actually saw tangible improvements in what I was doing. So the first song I ever learnt to play was Wild Thing.
Wow, it was your
And
first song. That's so awesome. By Hendrix.
yeah, yeah. And it's just the three open chords for it. But
Mm,
um, no, on day one I couldn't really do it, but I knew where to put my hands, but they couldn't quite get there fast enough. And I sort of mucked around a little bit every day and started to notice that as I did that, my hands were actually getting there a little bit quicker.
of the muscle memory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and seeing that in the first couple of weeks of playing and actually like noticing, oh, I'm seeing that I'm getting better.
Mm,
That really was what inspired me to go and just dive into it with everything I had.
mm. And how old were you then?
So that was when I was 13. So that was
S-
within a few weeks of playing.
Oh, wow.
Of and I started to learn songs that I knew. I learnt a bunch of Nirvana songs because it was the 90s and they were the big thing at the time. And their songs are much like with the Beatles. Their songs are very simple chord progressions, and so it's the kind of thing that you if you can play guitar, then you can probably play those songs.
Mm,
Like if you can play a few chords, then that's all you really need. And I remember someone saying to me, this is me being a little bit defiant, but someone said to me, "Oh, you won't be able to learn this solo," and it was a song called "Alive" by Pearl Jam. And I remember thinking, you know what, I'm going to do it anyway.
I'm going to show them I can do it. How about that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so I really knuckled down and spent a lot of time sort of with it, and ended up learning how to do it. And that kind of showed me that again, if I put the work in, then I can achieve things that maybe didn't seem possible.
Yeah, that's really an awesome story though, talking about, someone saying, "Oh, you'll never be able to do this." And you're like, "Yeah, I'm going to show them I definitely can." I love that.
I mean, uh, bearing in mind I was like probably 14 years old at the
Yeah,
time,
yeah,
so
we did, yeah. I think for me, I think that the guitar is actually a really great instrument because what sometimes she just needs to stretch a little bit because she has arthritis too. I um
she's
um
adorable.
thank you. Yeah. Um Guitar is neat because you actually don't have to learn to do really complicated things on unless you want to. If you
Mm,
decide like you're a person like me, I'm mostly known for my voice. So strumming a few things or learning to pick very, very minimally, for the most part, is usually enough. Like if I want to learn something complicated, I can. but I really don't have to.
Yeah.
Mhm. But you
But,
don't sing too much, do you? Or did you
no,
ever sing?
so this sort of comes into my health problems a little bit, in that I've tried to learn to sing, but I tend to get some problems in my body
Oh,
when I do. So if I can find a singer to sing for me, then I'll much rather go that route.
yeah. See, that's why I like the collabs, right? Because we bring out the best in each other. You may not
Exactly.
sing,
Yeah.
but I do. I might not be the greatest, high level guitarist, but you are. So we can
Oh, I don't
we
know about that, but I do my best.
much more so than me. Um, so we can you're good at what you're good at, and I'm good at what I'm good at, and so we can
Mm.
once we come together, we can put together something much better or something more than we could do by ourselves.
Yeah, and this is the really beautiful thing about playing music with people, is you create something greater than the sum of its parts.
Mhm. Yeah.
Everyone has their own unique, not only their own unique skill set that they bring to the table, but also their own unique influences and
Mhm.
life experiences that have shaped how they've connected with their instrument.
Yeah.
And I think that all comes through and creates a unique sound depending on the people that you've got working with you.
Mhm.
And I'll give a very specific example in that uh, the drummer that you brought in for this song that we've done
The Gabe
together,
Studio. Yes.
yeah, yeah, beautiful, beautiful player. I
Awesome.
was I really loved his drum work on this track,
Mhm.
and I've caught his streams a few times before, and he's always got a really nice attitude and really welcoming space, and seems like a lovely chap. And he just plays in this wonderfully relaxed feel with his fills. And I remember listening to him do those and going, "Oh, I've got to try and sort of leave these spaces for him to show this, because that brings so much to the table." And
Mhm.
or if I'm going to play while he's doing that, then I need to make sure that I try and match what he's doing. And so it shaped how I approach the track.
Mhm. Right.
And
So we can do a shout out for the Gabe Studio. Actually, we can just do a shout out for our track, right? So if you want to get to know the people who actually did this track with us,
oh,
Livio
cool! You got
J.
everyone there.
Yeah, Livio J. We've got, of course, our jazz cat, the Gabe Studio we were just mentioning, who is amazing, amazing. As Christopher was just saying, an amazing, amazing drummer, and also as Christopher was saying, he is a very nice person, and his streams are just fun and
Mm.
welcoming to places to be, for sure. And the Keymaker Music, of course, a family member here, been with me since the start, helped me rescue me from many a tech problem, and has done a few tracks with me as well. And Orchestrario also, he and I have done some things together, and he was an influence on this track, just helping me get some focus on what needed to be done.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah,
Just making sure I'm following all of these people as well.
Orchestrario, okay, he, with him, he helped me do the mixing, at least the beginning of the mixing. And he actually tried to show me how I could master the track. But one of the comments that he did make was, you know what? Usually, when you're mixing and mastering, it's usually better to bring another set of ears onto the scene because, it's really better not to try to do the whole thing yourself. You know,
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
yeah. So I did end up. I mean, I tried to do the mixing and mastering, but in the end, I hired someone because I wanted it, especially considering all the special people involved. I really wanted this to be a good track. So yeah,
I
um,
think it's come up wonderfully.
yeah, I do too. Hoping to share it with some people. And by the way, if you're out there in the chat, Jin Jin, welcome in. Uh,
Hey, Jin
yes,
Jin.
you know Jin Jin?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she's a pianist here, and
And a
yeah,
baker.
and a baker. True, true. So yeah, if any of you are out there and you would like to, thank you for giving a hug to Jazzcat. If you would like to have a free download of the song that we put together, I still have quite a few left. Um, let's do a shout to her real quick. Um, we still have quite a few free Bandcamp downloads. I got 100 of them when I first started this uh, to publish this track, and I think I may have been able to give out 20 of them. So quite a few left, everybody. So let me know either in chat or through Twitch Whisper or an Instagram if you really, and also your community too, Christopher. If anybody over there might like it to have it, um,
Hmm.
certainly willing to give out the codes and everything.
Oh, cool.
Hmm.
I'll throw up some posts on socials as well.
Yeah, yeah, because I mean, I'm not going to be doing a whole heck of a lot to promote this track. I've decided, this is the way I'm mostly going to be promoting it. To having you here, Livio J is hoping to come. I'm going to see if Gabriel will come. I think he will if he has time. Busy guy. I think he's on vacation right now, probably with his family.
Oh,
But
nice.
yeah, I'm going to see if he can come. And yeah, so as I'm just looking through my questions, see, um, one of the things that I had also asked is in terms of your teachers, just thinking about your teachers that you've had. Would you say that there was any particular teacher who really, really helped you move along, like up maybe a level or two higher than you were maybe when you first started?
Absolutely. I can point to a few lessons that I've had that have really sort of been like light bulb moments for me.
Hmm.
So when I first started studying, I had Stevie and had a private lessons for a little while with a guy named Ashley, and both of them were really really helpful. Ashley in getting me sort of playing like a lot of songs and finding. I think one of the things that is challenging for people when they pick up an instrument is having something to connect with it emotionally, and finding songs that are on the radio or songs that people know and learning to play them or even introducing them to new music that's something that they can connect with. And then it creates that sort of emotional desire to pick up the instrument and play that song that you've had in your head all day.
The song that, yeah, the one song you really love, yeah.
And so um, I'm going to be talking very 90s because that's the era then I was a teenager. So, and when I started playing guitar, there was um, there's a guitar player in a band called Dinosaur Jr. And quite a wonderful, wonderful guitar player. Very bluesy, a little bit of Hendrix in his style, and I remember learning this ballad that he did called "Going Home," and I could probably still pick up my guitar and play it for you
Oh,
now
wow.
because I played that thing every single day. I remember Ashley teaching me to play that one week, and I played the absolute proverbials out of that.
Play the proverbials out of that. I've never heard that expression before. What does it mean?
That's me self-censoring because family-friendly content.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, 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 yeah,
um,
yeah.
but I couldn't think of another word to put in there.
That's a good.
um,
That's a fine word. Then just playing the
uh,
everything you had into the song because you really love
yeah,
the song.
and so that's definitely one lesson that really stood out in my mind was when one week I came in and Ashley had learned that song and showed me how to play it, and yeah, it just made me want to pick up my guitar every chance I got just to play that little bit,
Yeah, yeah,
and playing along with records and doing that kind of stuff is such the gave me a really good grounding actually for going into jazz because that's so much of how we learn things as well. And with Stevie, they showed me a few more challenging pieces. I remember working on a Jeff Beck song, which is actually a cover of a Stevie Wonder song called "'Cause We Ended as Lovers,"
uh-huh.
and I'm not sure if you know that one or
I
not,
don't think
but
so. Wow, I'll have to look it up. I knew every single Stevie Wonder song. Let's take a drink, everybody.
um,
It's time for taking a drink. At least I'm going to.
yeah, sorry, yeah,
Mm. We just have to,
it's just
when we're sick. Yes, cheers. We just have to make sure when we're sick that we get enough water, or all the time anyway. Especially here on this end where it's hot and humid, but at least we have our AC.
so. Stevie, they were one who introduced me to Stevie Ray Vaughan as well,
Mm,
who's a quite a well-known blues guitar player, and learning some of his songs, and also Jimi Hendrix. The first time I played a Hendrix song was Stevie nudging me in that direction.
mm,
So a lot of stuff that I gained from them, and then a little later on, as I sort of grew into adulthood and started studying at trade school and then university. In Australia, we have a very big trade school system called TAFE,
I
which
see.
is often a stepping stone to university for people. And so, studying there, I had the same teacher all through that for about 10 years,
Wow.
named Mike Bevan, and he was the one who really helped me get into jazz and understand the sort of different nuances of jazz guitar playing, and worked with me on just so many different jazz tunes. Had a hand in a lot of my arrangements, pushed me to look at a bunch of different guitar players like Wes Montgomery and Joe Pass, who are both huge, huge influences on the way that I do things to this day. So you would have heard a lot of my sort of chordal playing, where I'm sort of playing a melody and playing the chords underneath it at the same time.
Mm, yeah.
So that is very much a combination of the way that Wes Montgomery and Joe Pass would play and things I learned from studying their pieces.
Uh-huh.
And that was a direction that Mike really pushed me in, was presenting me with different songs that would be challenging my playing in different ways.
Mm. So you
And
you played guitar. You actually, when you went to university, you actually majored in music and guitar playing.
yeah, yeah. So it was a long road to get there. It took me. So I auditioned once, twice. It took me four auditions, so 4 years before I got in
Oh, you had
to
to.
the university course. So all through my my trade school studies, I was auditioning every year to the university,
Oh, you had
and
some years where you auditioned and you didn't get in.
yeah, yeah. So
Mm,
I got in on my fourth year.
yeah.
So I was nothing if not persistent.
Well, and I was just listening to an interview from the lady, and I can't remember her name, her whole name, but I know her first name was Nicole, the first minister of Scotland. And she
All
said
right.
she tried for 7 years to get into that job and
Oh, wow.
ran 7 times before she got elected. And then each time she learned something. Would you say that
Mm.
happened with you, that each time that you didn't get in, you learned something that you used the next time?
Oh, absolutely.
Hmm.
So my very first attempt. This was such an ADHD moment. The very first time I tried, I left my backing track at home,
Oh, no. Wow.
and so one of the people who was doing the audition was kind enough to play piano for me.
Wow.
So that was a very embarrassing moment, and also definitely a learning experience. The next time, I brought a full band in with me.
Wow.
So I learned that that was sort of how you would typically do things, and so I organised people to come in and play for me,
Ah.
and then it was just learning to find. The feedback I kept getting was that my timing wasn't what they wanted,
Oh.
so I spent a lot of time working on that. And the year that I finally got in was after an entire year of playing the same song every single day and focusing on my timing as much as I could, recording myself and listening back, and just making sure that even when I was feeling really anxious and having a panic attack, that my body would still make the motions that it needed to play with the correct timing. Because in hindsight, that's exactly what was happening. Was I was playing fine when I was relaxed, but when I would go in there, I would get so nervous that I would dissociate, and so I wouldn't be concentrating on what I was doing.
Oh, wow. Very interesting. Did you practice with a metronome?
Absolutely, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was another big turning point. To this day, I still play with a metronome on a regular basis, just to focus in on my timing and make sure that I'm comfortable playing, especially if I'm trying to play at a different tempo than I'm used to.
Mm.
Then that's definitely something that I will do, and I'll do that in rehearsals too. And I'll go, oh, our timing isn't quite right on this. Let's pull out the metronome and run it a few times so that we can really lock in.
Yeah,
And
that's really cool. I've had to learn a little bit, at least when I'm putting together a track with someone, I have to at least learn to practice it with a metronome or either that or a drum beat or both. Yeah.
yeah, and it's a bit of a different animal with playing more folky music, but jazz is very focused on playing with as solid a time as you can, and being very focused on a sense of groove and a sense of like momentum to the music, which
Mm.
only really comes when you've got that really solid basis for it.
No, really focusing on the timing and being very, very strict with yourself about it. I see.
Yeah.
Well, we are actually going to be wrapping up the interview in just a few minutes.
Yep.
But I just wanted to ask you, um, before we're doing that, a few other questions. Um,
Sure.
can you tell us, for one thing, what kind of projects, if any, you're working on in terms of with other people or on your own, special projects and things that maybe after that you can answer things for the future, what you might be doing?
So, in addition to what we've done here, I've also been recording some solo guitar stuff,
Mm.
and recently put out a track on YouTube. So that's something that I'm going to be looking at doing again soon is finding more solo guitar pieces to record and just trying to be putting things out there here and there. Um, I also work regularly with a vocalist named Alara Black, who you may have seen on my channel before.
I think I may have seen her and seen her on your social media. Yeah.
So she and I have been working together for a few years now, and we've just started up gigging again regularly. So we played last Thursday, and we're going to be playing this Friday,
Mm.
and just doing like little restaurant gigs and things like of that nature, which is a lot of fun. And she is also putting together a an album at the moment, so I'm going to be involved in that, and I'll be playing some guitar on that. I'm not sure what else I'll be doing, but I may have a production role as well. We shall see.
Oh, so
And
is that album going to be originals or covers?
yeah, she's written some wonderful songs for that. So
Wonderful.
she's been working on some a bunch of original pieces, and we've been workshopping them in rehearsals.
Mm.
So I'm very much looking forward to getting my teeth sunk into that. And other than that, I'm just going to be keeping to my stream schedule as best I can, and being on Twitch 3 times a week, playing all my instrumental songs, and trying to add to my list whenever I can.
Wonderful. Welcome in Raiders, by the way. James Baum. Uh,
Hello.
James Baum, I don't think I know you. Thank you for so much for the raid. We are in an interview right now, and so I am. If you don't mind, I'm just going to greet the Raiders. Thank you so much
Sure.
for the shout out to James Baum. If you like, let me just take a look at these people because I don't think I know them.
Yes.
72 followers,
Nice.
okay. And looks like a gaming streamer. Welcome
Oh,
in.
nice.
I'm just seeing playing some Minecraft. Very nice. Thank you so much for the raid. How was your
Looks,
stream? And thank you for coming by. Yes.
looks like they were playing some Fortnite too.
Oh, Fortnite. Oh, nice. Okay. Just getting myself back. Friend recommended you and was a good stream. Don't let me interrupt. Okay, thank you. So
Oh,
we are
nice.
doing
Welcome in.
an interview with our friend, the guitarist Christipher Jazzcat, who's a streamer here on Twitch. He and I and a few other people just put together a song called the Monday Morning Blues. And there is the information about all the people that worked on the song. And also, in addition to that, is Marvin Fawkins, who is our producer that I hired from Fiverr. So, if any of
Nice.
you are interested in having a free Bandcamp download, just tell me in chat or message me on Instagram, and I'd be happy to give you a free Bandcamp download. We are actually wrapping up the interview in a few moments, but actually, this would be a good time for us to see if anyone in chat does actually have a question for Christopher right now
Yeah, sure.
before we end the stream. And I think we probably just will head out in a raid in a little bit because I will be having a doctor's appointment later today also. So yeah, so if anybody, I'm going to ask him a few more questions while people are thinking about this. But if you do have questions, actually for either Jazzcat or me, but mostly for him because he's the guest here. Yeah. So we were talking. One of the things that I was interested in when I've watched your social media and things like that is actually working on guitars. That you actually do know how to take a guitar. Do you actually know how to take a guitar apart and what kind of things do you know how to do?
Okay. I can do a demonstration.
Okay, sure.
Give me, give me one moment.
So that's a really helpful thing to learn if you do play guitar. For one thing, the basic things to know how to change your own strings, which I hate doing, and I usually put off as long as I can. But
I'm
I
trusting that I've got a screwdriver.
most of us uh, should know how to change our own strings. uh, but some people know how to do other things. Like some people know how to adjust the truss rod on their guitar. So the
Yep.
truss rod is basically the rod that goes up and down the neck, and you can tighten it and loosen it in order to uh, make the guitar have strings lay the way they should. So you can,
So
yeah. Some people know how to do that. I really don't know how to do that. I've never learned yet. And so he was
so
going to
this guitar
demonstrate
needs a
something.
bunch of work done to it.
Hmm.
This is actually on my to-do list. So one of the things that you should probably get a professional to do is adjust your truss rod until you're comfortable doing so, because it is possible to do some damage doing that. However, I do that myself, so I'll just need to take, there's 3 screws here that I'd need to take off of the guitar. I'll hold it up.
Okay.
So you can see here where it says, I think it says studio there. There's
Yeah.
3 screws there. The truss rod is underneath there, and then you just put an Allen key in there and turn it,
Uh huh.
and that will adjust the curve of the neck. So whether it's sort of curved up like that a little bit more, or if it's more flat.
Uh huh.
And typically you want a tiny little bit of curve in there just
But
to
do
make
you
it comfortable to play.
just a little bit of a curve? Okay.
And another thing is adjusting the height of the pickups, which will change the sound. So there's 2 screws here on either side here, and putting a screwdriver in there. It's very easy to just turn and make the pickup a little bit higher, which will make the output a little bit louder and also change the sound a little bit. Typically, the lower it is, the thinner it'll sound, and the higher it is, the fuller it'll sound.
Oh, interesting.
There's also some adjustments here which will adjust the string height, and you'll typically do those, again, it's a screwdriver. You'll typically adjust those as you adjust the truss rod.
So you know how to do all these things.
So these are all things that, yeah, I've sort of picked up over the years, taking care of instruments.
So he has, as you can see behind him, he has quite a few guitars. Um, Most of us who play guitar over the years, we accumulate, don't we?
Yeah,
Guitars. And it's so funny,
definitely.
like how, we wind up in the store and we're like, we're not going to buy anything. And then we see something out there we fall in love with, and then we wind up coming home with it, right? Recently for me, it's been this Schecter Apocalypse that I bought
That's a
because
beautiful guitar.
it is a lovely guitar. I haven't really quite learned how to play it yet, or how I guess the style of playing that I would do on it would fit in with the kind of things I do. But I'm starting to try. And what are you doing back there?
Okay, so I was just taking off the cover here with, again, with a screwdriver. This is probably the most complex thing that I will do on a
No,
guitar.
be scared to do that.
And you'll see in here there's a bunch of wires.
Yeah. Well, look at that. Uh huh. Yeah.
So each of these controls here are connected up to those wires, which connect to both the pickups here and the output jack here.
Uh huh.
And by wiring that in different ways, or swapping out pickups or swapping out various components, you can drastically change the sound of a guitar.
Uh huh. But you have to know what you're doing. So, where did you learn how to do all of this?
So this is stuff that mostly I've learnt from fellow guitar players over the years. People have been kind enough to sit down with me and go, okay, so you're going to want to know how to do this. And then rather than just doing it for me, actually taking the time to talk me through doing it myself.
I see. So now you don't have
Um,
to if you need a tune-up or a setup on your guitar, you don't have to take it somewhere, you can do it yourself.
yeah, and I've also a lot of these guitars you'll see behind me are actually very cheap instruments. There's one guitar I own which is expensive, which is the one that you'll typically see me playing on stream, which is behind me over this side.
Uh,
The rest of these are, were between $100 and $800 to that I've paid for them. And a lot of the time, I've bought them with the expressed idea that I'm going to put in some time and some effort and try and make them into better instruments.
mm,
So, uh, again, that gets into the reason that I'm sort of showing the wires in the back there is that one of the guitars I have there, I've replaced all of the electronics myself.
uh-huh, wow. So for example, that Epiphone that I bought back last year, which I ended up trading in, and they almost wouldn't take it back for me because it was such, not that very good of a guitar. You would have been able to take a guitar like that and just totally make it into an awesome instrument.
I mean, I I feel like if a guitar plays comfortably for you,
Mhm.
then that's the main thing, and you can usually get sort of about 80% of the sound from the electronics.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so if that's learning how to do it. Yeah.
And so, and if you can do that kind of stuff yourself, and you know, I got a lot of burns on my hands learning to solder things, but we got there in the end.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know Orbiter Guitars here on Twitch, who does work on
Yeah.
guitars? Yeah, I've learned some things from him. Mostly learned that it's better to have someone else do it. I mean,
I
but
mean,
yeah.
I guess for me, it's sort of a trade-off of do I have the time and energy to do this thing? And if the answer is yes, then I'd rather sort of put in that time and energy instead of spending money on something.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well,
But there's,
I think we need to probably wind up the stream. So is there anything
yep.
else that anybody wants to ask? And Hayes Anderson is saying, I actually sat down and taught myself electronics and I'm just a drummer. What's this just a
Oh,
drummer
nice.
thing? Drummers are very
Yeah.
important, as we were just saying.
I'll say, so my best friend is a drummer. I call him my emotional support drummer.
There you go.
And he is one of the most musical people that I've ever met in my life. He's always got a great perspective on harmony and sort of as well as rhythmical stuff. He'll and I think because his main instrument is not a pitched instrument, he comes at it from a unique perspective that can often give us as instrumentalists sort of things that we might not have thought of otherwise. So I very much value our drummers out there.
Yeah, we were just saying a little while ago how you really loved how Gabriel played the drums on our piece, and you just
Oh,
tried to
absolutely.
do what you could to compliment him and bring out the best in what he was doing, and not like I guess overpower him and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very inspiring listening to him play there for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Ayward saying drummers are important. It is hard to find good drummers. And Ayward is also a pianist, and I believe he has
Wonderful one at
also
that.
played live a few times as well. So, Ayward or anybody in chat, do you have other questions for Hayes Anderson? Also, even harder to find drummers that build guitar pedals. Yeah, 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 true. So, yes, do a shout
I
to.
could use one. This thing needs repairing.
Oh, yeah. Hayes Anderson, I believe, also a music producer here, and of course, Ayward, who streams also both music, usually music on Saturdays, and also some games lately, a lot of Tomb Raider and Planet Zoo. He's Anderson, maybe I can fix fix it. There you go. Yeah. So, well, if no one, is there anything else that you wanted to say before we are, you're welcome for the shout out before we are ending the show here?
It's been really great to be working with you on this track, and we also did Hula Baby together,
Yes, we did.
and it's been lovely to be a part of this, and I hope I did a good job. I did my
You did
best.
wonderful. You really did. And I know that it's the middle of the night for you, but you are a night owl too.
I
So,
am, and a jazz cat,
yeah, Jazz Cat. Yeah. So,
but
yeah, I feel
this has
like
been really great.
for me, like I was saying, as a person with physical disability and also mental health disability, we both have that in common.
Yeah,
We've had been able to develop a connection with each other. Also, having difficulty functioning in a social setting, we've been able to find our a niche here, a place where we feel like we're accepted, and
yeah,
where we belong. So I really also want to thank you for just your friendship and for what you've done on our tracks and just being here and
all right.
talking openly about your life and your work.
Thank you. And yeah, just to echo what you've said there, like Twitch has been very much a place where it feels like home,
Hmm.
and um, the connections I've made on here, I truly value. I can say now, some of my best friends are from all over the world,
Yeah,
and it's been really lovely to get to know you and spending time on each other's channels, hanging out and chatting, or chatting over socials. Like,
yeah,
um, very very glad to have met you and that we've formed this connection and to be connecting musically as well.
yeah.
It's been a really wonderful experience.
Looking forward to things that we're going to do together in the future. I'm hoping that there will be.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.